place in the Borussia Dortmund team until just recently. Both of them started the last game, and Dortmund did win it. They're level with Bayern Munich at the top in Germany. Been impressed so far, Taylor?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, in general, yeah, because there's only been, what, 48 hours of training with the full group, with some of the players coming in late and some of the players not even training until yesterday for the first time. So obviously the cohesion's always still going to be a sticking point, and even some of the fluidity and movements and touches and understanding and whatnot, but sure.
Well, he said, didn't he, yesterday, Greg Berhalter, it won't be perfect. It's important we implement our ideas, and we see signs of the team starting to get the message, which, as you've been hearing, has been put across in some detail to the players. There's going to be one change here for Ecuador, bringing on Leonardo Campana, the 18-year-old striker, to replace Renato Ibarra. So this is interesting, because this fellow, this youngster, scored 6 goals at the South American Under-20 Championships. He was the top scorer in the whole competition, which is one reason why Ecuador won it above much bigger names like Brazil and Argentina. So he's making his debut for Ecuador tonight. How good is he? You're about to find out, I think.
It will change, though, Ecuador going forward, because now Romario Ibarra will play wide left and Campana will play as that number 9. And the one thing about Romario Ibarra compared to his brother is he doesn't really want to defend, right? So now that's on the same side where, guess who? Tyler Adams wanted to have the freedom to come inside and come forward, keep an eye on the counter.
There's absolutely no doubt that Dario Gomez, the coach, will have picked up on the Tyler Adams role and the possible gaps that might be left behind. United States of America looking to make it 3 wins out of 3 for their new coach, Greg Berhalter, who played in 2 World Cups himself. Pulisic not able to get the flick on. Achilia was there winning his 39th cap, one of the more experienced members of the squad. Adams again very far forward, looking to win that ball in midfield, but there's the gap behind him now. There's no right back because Adams was in the centre of the pitch, and it's Romario Ibarra in that new role, and it was an air shot, which invited 1 or 2 hoots of derision from the crowd here, which we estimated around 17,000 in Orlando. Tim Ream across to John Brooks, whose Wolfsburg side are lying 7th in the Bundesliga. For Pulisic as well within this new system, not playing as an authentic number 10, but having to help out in midfield a little bit as well. Now then, Mendes. Campana wanted to be fed, but he wasn't, and Ecuador will get the free kick instead. Ecuador have only won 1 of the last 10 meetings between these 2 countries, having won the first 4 times these 2 countries met. Paredes. Ecuador, by the way, will be playing Uruguay and Chile in their group at the Copa America, and Japan, who are invited into the competition. Japan, who took the eye once or twice at the World Cup. They're in a thriller with Belgium, you might remember.
Well, what's going to be interesting to see next summer, Ian, is you and I talk about the Olympics and whether or not that plays a factor, is do the United States take an invitation to Copa America next summer?
Well, I think they should.
Absolutely,
really.
absolutely. You know my opinion. You've heard me talk about it 1,000 times since we've been together. Is that's the kind of competition that prepares you for a World Cup. Against that competition in a hostile environment, game in, game out. That's how you prepare.
Yep, here to that. Can only be beneficial and sharpen the players up. It was good work by Brooks. Nifty piece of defending from him. Long to spread it wide. A strange touch, that one from Jordan Morris. Morris had the chance to move to Europe and go to Werder Bremen a while back, but rejected that opportunity. Created a few headlines at the time. Antonio Valencia was beaten in the air by Tim Ream, whose next assignment with Fulham is to face Manchester City. Never rains, does it? That was Campana's first touch, that little back header.
And I just want to look at, see, here's Tyler Adams, right? And so now the player that he's supposed to be there, look at that space. In order to cover that, you've got to be on your toes as a center back. Look at the reaction from Aaron Long here. So he knows that Tyler Adams is out of position, so he slides over. My only question is, against better competition, if you're playing Belgium right now, that's Eden Hazard or Kevin De Bruyne. That's the one concern I have for the United States at the international level. But I'm okay with it if your center backs are in tune and your center backs are looking at Tyler Adams saying, I've got that 1v1. That was good recognition there from Aaron Long to recognize Tyler Adams was out of position.
Or even if Ecuador still had their left wing flyer, Jefferson Montero, of recent times, not in this squad. Brooks to Trapp. To Long, who looks like he's been
good ball
playing for the US for much longer than he has been. Pulisic now. Couldn't find a way past Paredes, but won it back, nipped it away from him. Wouldn't quite find its way to Zardes. And that's good play by Ecuador. They play that out of defense very cleverly. Here's Romario Ibarra. Campana waiting in the middle. Long got an important foot in there, was strong.
How about that run from Weston McKennie? That's a 75 to 80-yard recovery run because Tyler Adams again pushed high up the field. They've got Aaron Long 1v1. Weston McKennie, when this ball turns over, look at this run from McKennie in the middle of your screen. He started at, what, 22 yards from Ecuador's goal to make that run to cover. Now Aaron Long does a good job of stopping Ecuador's attack, but great recovery run from Weston McKennie.
Antonio Valencia for Ecuador. They're showing some ambition of their own here, not just sitting there and content to go away with a draw from this game. Paul Arriola. Most of this squad still Major League Soccer players, despite the arrivals from Europe for this camp, when everybody's been available. Trapp to feed it wide, Morris to play it in, McKennie's there again. Looks to stand it up to the back post, didn't quite get enough on it. Seb has more for us from the touchline.
I did get a chance to talk to Greg Berhalter right after halftime. He said expect a sub in about 15 minutes, so that's maybe 7-8 minutes from now. He just sent Michael Bradley down to warm up, Sebastian Lletget, Christian Roldan, Jonathan Lewis, DeAndre Yedlin, all warming up as well. The one other thing that Berhalter did mention was he'd like to see his attacking midfielders get the ball between lines a little bit more. He gave Ecuador a lot of credit for making those spaces awfully tight, but that's the one area he said he'd like to see improvement in the second half.
See if that happens as the half goes on. Looking a bit more comfortable out on the left-hand side than he was down the middle. Got the predatory youngster there now, Campana. Valencia, Paredes took advantage of a slip by Areola. It's a half-decent looking cross in, but it's well covered by Adams winning the header. High energy performance from him. Pulisic.
How good is that from Gruezo of Ecuador?
Yeah, free kick's going to be given here.
This is so good from Carlos Gruezo to come all the way over and to push Christian Pulisic back to where his support is defensively, because right when this touch comes, you're thinking Pulisic's in the open, but Gruezo leaves Artes, slides over, and he does exactly what his job's to do: stop the attack, stop the counter, and push Pulisic negative.
Moving a bit uneasily, Pulisic, and as Sebastian Salazar was telling you, we're nearing the time when the US might be thinking of a first substitution. He's got a big game coming up pretty soon in Germany against Bayern Munich. I think that's on April the 6th. Is Adams.
Well, and that's also interesting what we're going to see Tuesday night. What happens with the roster or any players sent back? You know, I wouldn't be shocked if you see a couple players sent back because of their big club games that bookend this international break.
Yeah, the manager has to keep his relations sweet with the club managers. Going to get the first yellow card of the night here for that challenge. Areola is distressed by the call. Look a lot in it, to be honest. Did that warrant a yellow?
Well, it is from behind and on the side, but on the other hand, there's been a couple other tackles that have been worse.
Didn't look that malicious, did it, really? But Areola's in the boat. Finding it quite hard here to open up Ecuador, the US, in this second half, keeping pretty tight lines and condensing the spaces for South Americans. Here's Morris. Trap. Pulisic looking for a little flick.
Yeah, but for me, that's the wrong ball, though, Ian. That's the wrong ball because of Pulisic and his positioning, and it's in a great spot. I think Will Trapp should clip it over for Areola that we saw in the first couple chances in the first half. You can say one thing about playing between the lines and getting in these spots here. That's fine.
Here's Pulisic. Thought about the shot. Now he lets it go. Deflected. Will be a corner.
See, that's different than the ball that Will Trapp tried to play him because there was no defender up the backside of Pulisic. Watch this ball. Now Pulisic's got a half a yard of space to turn and then get after the defender 1v1. The other ball, the defender's up his backside. It's almost impossible, and he's got nowhere else to go except back to Will Trapp. That's a good look forward from Tyler Adams.
If he scores tonight, he'll be the youngest ever American to 10 goals. Now he's taking the corner kick, which goes a long way. Later got his head to it. Pulisic. Taking on Antonio Valencia there. Lovely cameo from Pulisic. That's what he can do. The close control, the drop of the shoulder. Lovely. Kenny. Adams. Dispossessed. Good covering. Long. He was smart on his feet there to avoid that challenge from Ibarra. Michael Bradley is going to replace Will Trapp in just a moment, bring all his experience to bear. And on comes Bradley, who has 130 more caps to his name than Will Trapp. Number 144 tonight for Bradley. The record is Kobe Jones, 164. And he needs another 21. Areola here. Morris to play it back. McKennie just lacking that final ball. The one that opens the safe. Ball that is needed to win matches at more exalted levels of the game. Here's Ream. Look at all those yellow shirts between the ball and the goal. Everybody, come and break us down if you can. That's what Ecuador is saying. And then we'll look for anything we can get. We can nick the ball away on a break. Camped in the Ecuador half, but can they find a way through that yellow wall? Take a little bit of ingenuity. Ream into Zardes. That's well played. Pulisic loses his balance. That's all it was. No question of that being a penalty, despite one or two howls from people in the crowd.
How's that for a tight touch in a tight area from Giazzi Zardes? The one criticism of Zardes his entire career is, can he play with his back to goal in close combination play? That was a great first touch, but then a layoff to Pulisic going forward.
That's exactly what Greg Berhalter wants from the player he had at Columbus Crew, and had some success there as well. McKennie's done well here. Bradley. Later to get the header away. Defender who made his debut against the US and the friendly they played just before the Copa America in 2016.
Look at the touch. I mean, that's improvement immensely from Giazzi Zardes, because that's not what you saw. But since he's moved to Columbus, Greg Berhalter last year, Caleb Porter this year, he's had very few touches tonight, but that is easily one of the best touches we've seen from Zardes in a while.
That's Christian Pulisic's race run for tonight, to be replaced by Sebastian Lletget of LA Galaxy. Already on target for the US this season, Sebastian Lletget. 8th cap for him tonight. Here's Antonio Valencia taking on Ream, who gets the block in. Hasn't always worked out for Tim Ream in a US shirt, but he's got a coach now who likes the cut of his jib, so there may be a more permanent place waiting for him in the team.
Well, and completely under the radar. Remember the first camp after Trinidad and Tobago and that debacle, Tim Ream went into that first camp and helped that transition along with Alejandro Bedoya. So it went under the radar, but I think a lot of the players recognize that, and Tim Ream deserves some of that credit.
Yeah, I think he was a tremendous father figure to the players. I think he knew he wasn't going to play and was just there to impart a little bit of wisdom. So hats off to him for that. Paredes. Okay in the end, although Arboleda rather panicked. He's kind of got away with it. US with McKennie sensing the chance to win the ball. With a feisty character, Weston McKennie. Wiltrap has gone off injured, and maybe there was a reason why for that. Maybe Seb can tell us.
It's a left thigh contusion for Wiltrap. I am told that his exit from this match is more precautionary than anything else. I noticed him grimacing right after that big challenge on Christian Pulisic right at midfield. You saw him kind of reach towards his midsection, signal over to the bench. He was looking to come off at that point.
Yeah, thanks for clearing that one up. Wiltrap had a pretty good game in the first half. Picked out one or two excellent long-range passes. A little break in the play here, and still no breakthrough for the US, who are on this road to redemption really with their supporters. DeAndre Yedlin looks like he's about to come on, and the coach made it quite clear he wouldn't be playing at right back with Tyler Adams there.
You would think this would be forward for Jordan Morris.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
that's ultimately what Greg said. What Greg Berhalter talked about, I think, on Monday and Tuesday. So it's an interesting role if DeAndre Yedlin is coming in as a winger. You and I called those games in 2014, and I found the comparison of 2014 to now with Yedlin's apples to oranges. That was his introduction to the national team under Jurgen Klinsmann. That was really the only role he could play, but he's been playing as a out-and-out right back, as a right wing back for Newcastle. So this is a different role for DeAndre Yedlin.
Yeah. He's a 25-year-old veteran, isn't he? We remember him coming into the team and making a splash at the World Cup in 2014 when he got his opportunities, and that led to a move to Tottenham, then on to Sunderland, and now Newcastle United. I read in the Newcastle programme the other day, Taylor, that he's planning to start his own fashion business as well, Yedlin.
Well, look at that left ankle. That is a nasty turn. Initially, I thought it was his back when he came down, but that left ankle. Well,
that's it, I think, for him tonight, isn't it? And
and now maybe that changes Yedlin's sub. Maybe Yedlin comes in for Tyler Adams, and Tyler Adams takes over McKinney's spot. That did not look good.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to rethink that. Yeah. It doesn't look good at all, does it? You just hope that's not one of those ankle ligament injuries that's going to keep him out for a couple of months. Certainly Schalke will be hoping for that with their battle against the drop in Germany. Pity, just one of those things, an unhappy landing. Absolutely nothing, or virtually nothing, for Sean Johnson to do in goal for the US. He's been a virtual spectator, hasn't he? It's Cruezo of Dallas turning the ball across to Achilia. They're missing Enner Valencia, no question about it. Ecuador gives them a bit of a burst of pace and some good finishing as well up front. Been doing that for a few years.
And it looks like Yedlin will be coming in for Jordan Morris, and Christian Roldan will be coming in for Weston McKennie.
Long towards Ibarra. As long as she's trying to let that run out of play. There is Tyler Adams, and here come the changes. Christian Roldan and DeAndre Yedlin. Roldan plays for Seattle, going very well in the early stages of Major League Soccer this season. So on comes the Californian to play in midfield as poor old Weston McKennie having to keep the weight off that. He certainly won't be playing against Chile. I should think he'll be flying home for treatment with his club. Doesn't look good, does it? You must have had a couple of those in your career, mustn't you, Taylor?
No, but it's always difficult to see that and then to speculate what it is.
Just hope that's better than it looks for McKennie. I think anyone who's played football, even for the school or at parks level, knows how that feels if you go over on your ankle. Luckless, really, but can happen to anybody. Ecuador are about to make a change as well now. Johan Julio is going to come on for them in a moment. Play up front. Can anyway. Adams just searching for a bit of inspiration now. The US, some of that early spark has just gone a little bit. Ecuador have defended deep and well.
Friendlies always act like this, though. 70th minute comes, you make 4 or 5 changes on each side, and the rhythm's completely taken out of the game.
Yeah, it can be a different game, can't it? Roldan across to John Brooks. Yedlin with the cross in. Paredes to get it away. Arriola was looking for a 1-2 around the edge of the box, but not quite the execution the US needed.
Good spot there from Michael Bradley, and good spot there. But now without Pulisic and McKennie in this game, the United States needs either Leggett or Roldan to make that second and third run when the ball gets in a wide area.
There's Arriola, kept a bit more under lock and key in this second half. Adams. No way through for Roldan, and Grasso doing some good work in there. But Ecuador, by and large, just can't get out. Not for long anyway. Being hemmed in by the US, and increasingly as this goes on, it looks like Ecuador are quite happy to go away with a draw from this. Anything else may be a bonus. Johan Julio on for them then. And he'll replace Romario Ibarra. So both the Ibarra brothers now off the pitch. Ecuador translates as Republic of the Equator. Population 19 times smaller than the US. But they've got to 3 World Cups. 3 of the last 5, in fact. Painful end to the night for Weston McKennie. And I think he showed plenty, didn't he, while he was out there?
Well, as much as everyone wants to talk about Tyler Adams playing out of position, Weston McKennie, it's what he's been playing at Schalke. People want to say he's been playing right back, but when you look at his touches, I'm not sure what position he's playing. Tonight you saw a couple tidy touches that were away from him in good spots, but then you also saw some of the ideas and combination that he opened up the game. Ian, I read you that stat. Remember, it was the first half in a Bundesliga game 2 weeks ago. He had 3 touches with his feet, 12 with his head.
Wow. Incredible.
So it's hard to evaluate Weston McKennie and what he's doing at Schalke and what his best position is, but Greg Berhalter, and I even think Weston himself, believe central midfield is the best spot for him at this level.
Yeah. Sometimes you can be a victim of your own versatility, can't you? Chile has been asked a lot there. He's answered in the affirmative. Well drilled under Dario Gomez, the man who took Panama to the World Cup. They didn't do an awful lot when they got there, in all honesty.
They still went.
They still went. Yeah.
It's kind of like you're playing golf tomorrow and I'm not.
The way you play, I'm glad I'm not having to play against you. ESPN's coverage brought to you by Volkswagen, presenting partner of US Soccer. Become quite attritional now, isn't it? This. I think Chile wants some treatment. This is football in Mexico with Morelia. Players had to put up with a lot in the last couple of years. His wife lost his wife to cancer a couple of years ago. No breakthrough for the US after that great beginning, and they had that big chance with Areola. They even had the ball in the net. A wafer-thin offside decision. Mistake by Paredes there.
Yeah, but as the game slows down, Ian, this is all part of your evaluation of players. So you've got guys like Leggett, Christian, Roldan coming into the game. What kind of impact do they have? This is all part of that evaluation. You know what you're going to get from Michael Bradley. But those are two guys fighting in some positions that are very crowded, to say the least. It's going to be interesting to see what you get from Roldan and Leggett.
Leggett lays it off. Here's Adams. I'm not quite sure what blade of grass he's going to turn up on in this game.
Yeah, but that's the question after the game, Ian, is did it really work?
Yeah.
And I'm indifferent to it. That's a good ball there.
To Roldan. Areola to play it inside. Leggett kept it pretty well alive. Areola to play it in. It wouldn't reach side. It was good defending there by Almeida. Important header to win. It's a bit better from the US. Just need to up the tempo a little here, maybe. Through ball aimed towards Yedlin, who's one of the quickest players out there.
Well, I think this is a corner. I think this is a corner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Julio's left foot. Watch Julio's left foot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unquestionably. Areola is going to come off. He could have made it goals in successive games and will be replaced by Jonathan Lewis, the 21-year-old winger. Plays for New York City FC. Third cap for him tonight. But he can just have a little bit more energy and thrust down that left-hand side. Officially nearly 17,500, a bit more than we thought. It's Caicedo, a rangy left back. US get it back again quickly. There's surely a free kick for that, because Leggett was just flattened. Another player, isn't he, Sebastian Leggett, who's had to overcome a lot of problems to establish himself in the US squad and get his chances, notably injury.
Yeah, but he's very good, Ian, picking up that space underneath the 9, right in between the defensive midfield and the center backs of the opposition. And right now he's trying to find those spaces in and around Giazzi Zardes, but I feel like the United States' chances tonight have come off what? A quick switch of the point of attack where it's been a ball over 35, 40 yards over the top to those wide players sitting high up the field. That's where they've opened up Ecuador. Other than that, the 4 or 5 in the back from Ecuador have been in sync, and that space has been very limited.
Here's Bradley. Needing progressive passing through the lines. how the US started. The passing's just become a little more prosaic in the second half. Leggett. Adams. Nothing really on. He's looking for more movement ahead of him. It isn't there at the moment, really. Ecuador defence look comfortable, very comfortable. So how bad is the problem for Weston McKennie, we wonder? Sebastian Salazar with more on that.
Yeah, guys, I mean, he hasn't been taken back in the locker room. As you can see, he's still on the bench. Multiple members of the medical team were working on him. He looked to be in pain. He looks a little bit calmer now. They're telling us it's a left ankle sprain, which, based on how it looked coming off, would, I guess, be best case scenario.
Yeah, thanks, Seb.
I'm not going to play chief medical officer, but sometimes you can have a sprain that lasts a very long time, so.
It can take a few weeks, can't it?
Absolutely.
To get it right again, even with the extremely modern equipment available these days.
For the last 10 minutes, I want you to call me Dr. Twelman.
With pleasure.
Ooh,
I've got
that.
I have no diagnoses for you, though.
I could find one. What's the illness? Scared of alligators?
I think you're one. Here's Zardes. Bit of space this time. Deflected. Problem for the goalkeeper. That's in. US have the lead. Jesse Zardes with the goal. It came out of nowhere, really. It owed a lot to the deflection. But the breakthrough that never looked like coming has arrived with 9 minutes to go.
The life of a center forward can be so boring at times, and yet you can be rewarded for something that completely comes out of absolutely nowhere. Jazzy Zardes has had maybe 10 touches the entire game, but you've got to stay alive. You've got to be ready for the situation. And yes, does Dominguez make an absolute meal out of this? He does. But 5 weeks from now, 10 weeks from now, 15 weeks from now, the box score is going to say 1-0 United States. Jazzy Zardes scored a goal. Was it lucky? Absolutely. Does it matter? No.
Nightmare for the goalkeeper, who should have saved that, no
Brutal.
question. Zardes won't count. Worry about that, though. Campana, the flag's up here. Play will be brought back. Zardes' last goal for the US was against Ecuador in the Copa America quarter-final back in 2016. 13 without since then. He'll take it.
What was Dominguez doing, though? Zardes with a ton of space. No one from Ecuador really around him whatsoever. But what is this?
Had to tip that over the bar, didn't he? Came off Arboleda, but it's Zardes' goal, all right. Look at the accusing glances from the Ecuador defenders. He won't feel good about that. He's turned from hero in the first half with a big save to 0 now. Doesn't need telling. 6'5" he is as well. How does he not get back to that? His footwork wasn't great, was it?
Oh, it was almost as if he was slow to react even on the deflection. But to your point, Ian, he's 6'5". Just play the ball. It's as if he looked like a deer getting out of a car.
Well, it did look rather as if the US had rather run out of ideas and were just bouncing off Ecuador, but they have been the team who've asked nearly all the questions in the game, and to that extent, I think you'd say the lead is deserved. Maybe more of what happened in the first half than the second. Is Greg Berhalter on his way to a third consecutive win and a third consecutive clean sheet as well. Do Ecuador have any answers? They've been lacking in ambition, really, from half-time onwards.
Well, they've come in here and just sat in.
Yeah. They've almost used it as a rehearsal.
Yes, they did.
For the kind of away games they might be having when it comes to championships. This is how we might play it, whatever other teams do to try to open us up. Bradley's missed out there. Might they have an answer, I wonder? Mendes did some good work for Ecuador, but they need to change their mindset, and quick. Teams often find it difficult to do that, and they'll find it quite difficult when they've overhit a pass by 10 yards like that. Adams to play it forward to Chassis-Zardes, who's done a lot of work up there. Looked like he was banging his head against a brick wall a little bit, but then just a little moment of space. Now we've got people on the.
I don't get this.
No, it's happening all the time. Not only
this is an absolute joke.
I mean, it's a worry, Taylor, because you don't know.
No, you have no
coming
idea.
on the pitch with could they be carrying a knife or something? The stewards are in charge of it now, but that has to stop. Really, it's. I don't know whether it's drink doing the talking or just idiocy.
No, but the problem is the other. How many thousands of fans are cheering him on? I mean, you saw the story in England.
Oh yeah.
Right. How do you stop it? Is the real question.
That guy was jailed for 14 weeks within one day of it happening.
So
but there was still pitch invasions the next week.
Bingo.
There you go.
So does it really stop it?
I don't know what stops it, but you can't put fences up again. You don't want to do that. But it only takes one person, doesn't it? It only takes somebody who wants to make a spectacle of themselves. Anyway, we can move on. So Dr. Twellman didn't have an answer to that one.
No, that's out of my expertise on that one, my friend.
Then we get Major League Soccer on Sunday, March the 31st at 9 Eastern on ESPN2. LA Galaxy against Portland Timbers. That match streaming live on the ESPN app as well. That's Sunday, March the 31st at 9 Eastern, ESPN2 for that game. Early stages of the new MLS season. Grueso. By Chilia. Campana hasn't had a look in, really. He's not had any kind of services at all, the teenager.
No, but they haven't even tried to go forward. It's been a little confusing to me how Ecuador has literally come in here like a World Cup qualifier on the road and just sat in and not tested the back line of the United States whatsoever.
Well, I could see while it was 0-0 that they'd be happy to go away with that and say, well, that's okay. We can build on that. The run continues. They've been on a good little run lately. But now they've gone behind. There had to be a plan B. As far as the US is concerned, really. Lot to like in the first half. Harder work in the second, but you know, miracles take time. It's all a work in progress. Gold Cup in June.
Well, and if I'm going to assess anything real seriously on Greg Berhalter's system, the back giveaway from Tim Ream.
Giveaway by Tim Ream here. Campana had a chance, couldn't take it. He looked very slow thinking. Then there was an opportunity. Ream is a very, very relieved man. That could have been a moment of great embarrassment. That could have given it all away. Shaking his head, he knows.
Well, he's flat-footed. Sean Johnson plays him this ball. Prepare it and deliver that 30, 40 yards down the field. You're up 1-0. You're in the 88th minute. There's absolutely no reason for him to cut back against Valencia, that's just sloppy, and he's lucky John Brooks came over to cover that. But to finish my thought, Ian, if you're gonna assess Berhalter tactically, system, style, and all those buzzwords that everyone wants to use, I think it's gonna be more efficient and better if you do it after 2.5, 3 weeks of training going into the Gold Cup.
Yeah.
To do it tonight, it's a little injustice to him because he's barely had a full squad for 24 hours.
Yeah, welcome to the life of an international football manager. It's often the way it is.
I'm not saying you don't do that a year from now, but I'm saying right now, in only his first game with a full squad, I'd be reluctant to going all in on really analyzing what we saw tonight.
Yeah, I think you have to cut slack, don't you? But a win's a win's a win if it's going to be that. And it'll be interesting to see what little tweaks and changes he might make for Chile, who you would think might be just a slightly stiffer test. I don't know. Picked quite a strong squad. I think you're spot on about the Ecuador midfield tonight, Taylor. There's been no real creator in there. It's all built on just keeping the ball. Well, the US are quite happy for them to just knock the ball around like this at the back. They're 1-0 down.
I mean, honestly, this is the 90th minute, you're down 1-0, and the two center backs are playing two-touch.
Need to get that ball forward. They've probably played 20 passes between themselves at the back there, then gave it away promptly. It was a pretty pathetic piece of play that by Ecuador in the situation. It's something the coach will want to see changed. Tyler Adams. A rare piece of work for the goalkeeper. Scene moves to Houston. Join us again on ESPN2 for that one on Tuesday. USA v Chile. Greg Berhalter about to become the first coach since Bob Bradley in 2007 to win his first 3 in charge. By the way, that Chile game's at 7:55 Eastern, by the way, on Tuesday, just in case you wanted the time. Off goes Adams again on another of his sorties. His energy levels seem to be endless. It's almost like he's plugged into the national grid or something. Got the winner against Mexico, didn't he? Not a bad way to get your first goal if you're a US international.
But talk about a seamless transition going to Red Bull Leipzig. You're coming from the same concepts of New York Red Bulls. Your former head coach is the assistant coach there, and he's gone there, and they haven't lost since he's been introduced.
Third in the table. Yeah, going well. Early ball. See the idea. It was a good one. Oh, Dominguez has let that run.
Dominguez is having an absolute shocker.
Well, he's lost it now, hasn't he? I think he lost the plot. What was he doing then?
But I love the look, though, from DeAndre Yedlin. As a center forward, you want your outside players to hit this first time because that's when the defender is most vulnerable, marking you. Great ball in from Yedlin. It's a little too far for Zardes.
Really want to be the goalkeeper back in the locker room afterwards this game. There might be one or two glances from his teammates. Yellow card for that challenge.
You didn't appreciate my deer getting out of a car reference with Dominguez in that finish.
Oh,
have you ever seen a deer get out of a car?
No.
So when you're on your flight back to London, watch Tommy Boy. and watch a deer get out of a car.
That really happens in the movie.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking up.
You see, you learned something in the 95 minutes you're with me tonight.
That'll keep me entertained endlessly on the flight.
You just lost brain cells listening to me.
Learn something every day with Taylor. So we're getting a little bit bitty now. It's Aaron Long who's down this time. This tough guy, I think he's going to be all right. He wants to continue this run he's having in the team. He did score on this ground last season for his club against Orlando in a 4-3 thriller. They came out the wrong side of it. Up by Roldan. Nearly there here, the US. It's developed into quite hard labour, in truth, in the second half. Off goes Lewis. Bit of an enigmatic player, Jonathan Lewis, but I think
Absolutely.
Yeah, Berhalter sees something in him, though, doesn't he? He's always picked him for this squad. It's an interesting selection, maybe even a surprising one.
Well, and he's also one that, if I'm correct, he's in line for the under-23s as well, if his age plays into that. But he's a player that every single time you see him, he does something that just unbalances defenses, whether it's off the bench for New York City or in his few caps with the national team.
Yeah, he set up a goal, didn't he, in one of the earlier friendlies this year. That's it, the USA make it 3 wins out of 3 for Greg Berhalter. Still a work in progress, his team. There are new ideas. And in the first half, a lot of them nearly came to fruition. The debate will go on about whether the Tyler Adams modified right-back role works, but it was Yassizades here who came up with the goal. Should have been saved by Alexander Dominguez. US won't care about that. They did all the pressing, virtually camped out in the Ecuador half in the second half, and got the win that their dominance of the game probably deserved. The USA beat Ecuador by 1-0. We'll be right back with more in just a moment.
Sarah's last tuition payment sent off. Feeling good?
Oh, yeah. Now I'm ready to focus on my project.
This is why we plan. You never cease to amaze me, Maya.
See how investing with a JP Morgan advisor can help you. Visit your local Chase branch.
AI unlocks the art of science.
When you open a bottle of beer, I don't think many people actually know the level of science that's filled into that bottle. Back in time, it took Carlsberg several years to produce a new beer. But using Microsoft Artificial Intelligence, we will be able to detect new flavors in a split second and develop better beers faster.
With AI, we redefine what's possible.
So cheers!
US Soccer presented by Volkswagen continues Tuesday at 7:55 Eastern on ESPN2. And there, Greg Berhalter's United States squad will host Chile from the BBVA Compass Stadium in Houston, Texas. That match will also be streaming live on the ESPN app. So the US have beaten Ecuador here by 1-0, which means they still haven't conceded a goal in the 3 matches they played in Orlando in history. 1-0 against Sweden in 1998, 4-0 against Panama in 2017, and 1-0 tonight against Ecuador. And the players there making some friends in the crowd. The goal scored by Yassizades. He's with Seb now.
Jassi, how'd it feel to get that goal?
It felt great just to have an opportunity to get another goal for the U.S. men's national team.
What about the performance overall? What do you think?
I thought the team played extremely well due to the short amount of time we had to prepare for this match. So I thought we did a phenomenal job today.
I know you're looking for progress but how much did it matter to actually get the win tonight for this group?
It always matters to step on the field to get a win for your country, but all the information we took in this week, we applied it to the game, and I just have to wait to see what the coaches think of the game.
Thanks for the time, Giassi.
No, thank you.
So the evaluation process will go on. Let's get the evaluation of Taylor Twellman.
It's indifferent for me, in large part because Ecuador just decided to come here, stand on their heels, and defend. They're even down 1-0, and they didn't even try to get back into the game. You saw some glimpses of, combination play, playing through the midfield. If Paul Arriola scores in the first half, is the score different, Ian? Maybe we're looking at a 2-3-0 game. The United States was the better team, make no mistake about it. But any overarching kind of statement here, I think it's extremely difficult to make from that game.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I thought they were bright for 20 minutes, 25 minutes at the start. Let's get another view of it from Christian Pulisic with Seb now.
Christian, what'd you make of the performance tonight?
Yeah, I was really happy to be back with the boys, and it took us a while to kind of get going, but I think we looked good, and I'm happy we came out with the result. You
got to play with Weston McKennie in midfield. I know he came off early. I know you came off early, but what was that chemistry like?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I know Weston really well. I played with him a lot, coming up through the youth program, so it was good to be out there today.
When Christian Roldan was about to sub in, the last thing Coach Berhalter said to him was, "We need a goal." How important for you guys was it to actually win tonight?
I mean, it's very important. We take these friendlies serious. We always want to come out with a win, and it just gives us a lot of confidence moving forward.
Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's Christian Pulisic there. Taylor, your final view on the Tyler Adams experiment at right back?
I'm still interested in it. I still think it's going to work, but I think you need to have another game plan because I don't think every single game at the international level you're going to go up against an opponent like Ecuador that sits in, defends, and you're allowed to choreograph these plays. I don't think that's the only trick you can have. I think you need to have another setup, and it's going to be interesting to see if maybe that new setup is Tuesday night against Chile.
Coming up next, it's the Madden Club Championships for our entire crew. Thank you very much for joining us in Orlando tonight. Final score again, USA beating Ecuador by 1-0. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.